You already know what to do. Hit that like, share, subscribe, tap that notification bell so you get that notification when I'm dropping this hip hot fire. Man, look, it's your boy, NoPlayingDinero, tapping in with another viral video, and you know it's hot. Understand what you hearing and seeing. If it don't make dollars, then it don't make sense. And when you lose all your dollars, that's when you lose your sense. Man, we got a whole nother bang on our hand today. We got your boy Jim Jones. Yeah, he's still out here talking reckless. Understand what you hearing and seeing, man. He spoke on Dame Dash and Dame Dash's personal issues, and he said that Dame Dash wasn't really a boss out there on the streets. He was actually going to the store, was the store runner for Rich Porter. Now you know Dame Dash and Jim Jones got a outstanding beef that never was squashed from their days at Rockefeller, and now that beef done hit the airwaves, done hit the internet, and is going strong right now.
Dame impact in Harlem was nothing. Not to say it like that. Dame came up under hustlers. That impact was it. He was a little dude when it came to hustling in Harlem. He wasn't not no Rich Porter, none of that type of. He wanted to hustle. He wanted to hustle for Rich Porter and. That Dame from the east side. We were when the niggas on the east side is different from the niggas from the west side. Now for the east side, Dame was a big deal to us because we were little and he was coming from the west side, little car, jewelry, and all that. So when you're young, he's looking like Rich Porter, but in reality, you know, he was like this nigga, go to the store, nigga, take a couple grams, get out of here.
A whole lot of disrespect. Yeah, a whole lot of disrespect came out of Jim Jones' mouth toward Dame Dash. Dame Dash, man, ain't never claimed to be no hustler, ain't never claimed to be no big time drug dealer or none of that. But to say Dame Dash was a runner out there on the streets, New York, boy, y'all got to let me know. East Harlem, let me know. West Harlem, let me know what the hell Dame Dash was doing out there back in the early 90s. Understand what you hearing and seeing, because Dame Dash came out and he spoke on that same situation that Jim Jones was talking about in a fiery response. I'm going to hit you with it right now.
Jim Jones did, and he said that you're not a boss, you're a worker. What do you have to say about that?
You know, someone called me about that, and I laughed because it's ridiculous, but I felt like Jim must have been giving me an alley-oop to front on him. So I will.
Okay, so you're invited, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. When I was 15-year-old, and I would guess their perspective, because he was a young man, I was big time to him, because I was 15-year-old and I was doing things that most 15-year-olds weren't doing. And the people that he's rapping about in a lot of his records, like Rich Porter and Lou Sims, these are people I actually used to hustle with. Now, at 15, I'm not gonna say I was a legend at hustling. I wasn't, I was 15. But the people that we were looking up to, by the time I got to their age, I had definitely made more money than them, and I was more impactful as it relates to culture, because it wasn't being known for selling drugs. I was never known for selling drugs. But what you won't do, you could ask Lou Sims if he ever sent me to the store, or ask anybody that you know that was in that world that ever sent me to the store. See, I never hustled with Jim, and I don't think he ever bought a car till it was with rap money. It was never a street thing. Okay. I knew him as Jomo, and it's not a bad thing. It was his name, and he was like an 8-year-old, like a younger kid running around with a clip-on tie, and he lived in 1199 at Dave's house, because I guess they're, whatever it was, he lived. So I never really knew him as, like growing up, he was always a little kid. Yeah. But Fredo, Cameron brought him around, and I was like, why are you with Jomo? And he was like, well, and he admitted this, well, he has a crib we go to, we just using him, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, all right, it's Jomo. But he's done what he's had to do. But, you know, he wasn't there to say that. But if he can say that, like Dookie, I used to hustle with Dookie. He was my lieutenant.
Not Dookie. I thought he was calling the man Dookie.
Yeah, you were wrong. Pause.
Pause.
Dookie, Duke the God is, we call him Dookie. Pause. Okay. Duke the God is with the Dipset. I used to hustle with him. Okay. You could ask him if he ever seen someone send me to the store, but I was always known in the position as somewhat of a boss. And all I did was pass the plug to them. They were like, they always looked up to me at that time. But I was never big time as a drug dealer, but I did have a crew called The Best Out. And we were the youngest crew, and we were legendary. We was all getting money.
Yeah.
But again, I'm pretty impressed with who I am and who I was and the things I did. And the fact that the people rap about are the people that I actually hustled with and actually was able to go another direction. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for him, he knows the algorithm.
Yeah.
And you know, when you say Dame Dash, you go viral. And
I was gonna
appreciate
ask
Jim-
you if
I
that, do you
appreciate
think that
Jim
was
saying
more
that
a reason
so,
for
so
it?
that he could so that I could actually have a reason to talk about who I was and tell people to look under the hood. But if you know a 15, 16-year-old, and another thing is because I used to hang out uptown, so people from downtown, I'm from 1199, they weren't usually allowed to go uptown and hustle, and I was on one of the wildest blocks on at the time in Harlem. So I got to make it out of a real circumstance. I didn't wait to get the rap to start to get money. I didn't wait to get the rap to start being tough. None of those things. And you can look under the hood. So I appreciate him bringing it up.
So
and
was
to the extent that I've made my Paid in Full OG stories, it's about my friends. The people, like, again, y'all making records about Rich, but he really did hit us with work. I was there. If you wasn't there, it's hard to talk about it. To be obsessed and infatuated in such a way that you think to be a person is to go to jail, get killed, and be famous for it for a very short run, that's not what I wanted to be known for. But you could find somebody that sent me to the store, I'd like to know.
Dame Dash had to come out and break down how he was really living out there on the street, letting them boys know y'all was just rappers. Y'all was just little kids looking up to the kingpins. But at the end of the day, I ain't no kingpin, but I did have my own crew. And we was legendary out there on the street. That what Dame Dash say. Jim Jones do a whole lot of talking, but where the street credibility at? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody came out and said Jim Jones was a hitter out here on these streets.